Well, hey friends, Paula here. Welcome back to my channel, The Flavorful Home. Happy New Year. We're into 2024, and I thought my first video of the year would be cooking dinner. Dinner can sometimes be stressful. You could feel like you're in a rut. You don't know what to make, and this meal is a family favorite. French onion pork chops. It's got onions, yummy gravy, Swiss cheese, served with mashed potatoes. It is delicious. All you need is a veggie and a salad. You're good to go. It's easy. Your family will love it. Let's get turned around and show you the ingredients. Come on. Alrighty. So here are your ingredients. Pork chops. These are 4, bone in. I also will be seasoning them with salt and pepper. You don't have to use bone in. You could use those thicker loin chops. A sliced onion. Sliced mushrooms. You could also use canned or not at all if you don't like them. 4 tablespoons of butter. 4 tablespoons of flour. Salt and pepper, both for seasoning your pork chops and for seasoning your gravy. Sliced Swiss cheese. You could also buy a chunk and grate it yourself. I have some thyme here that was fresh and I dried. Again, optional. 3 cups of chicken broth. It calls for 2, but I do 3. My family loves the gravy and we like plenty for our mashed potatoes. If you know how to make gravy, go for it. Do it the way you like. And remember, this is cooking, not baking. If there's something here you don't like thyme, you prefer not to use pepper, you want to add maybe Cajun seasoning or something to that effect. As a matter of fact, I'm actually going to do, these are small, so I'm going to do 2 cloves of garlic as well. It's to your liking, so what you like is fine. I am going to season up my pork chops and get them ready for the fry pan, and then we will come back to put them in. Okay, I have my cast iron heating up. I'm just going to do a little dribble of olive oil and let it get hot. Give it a little swirl so that it's hot for my pork chops, which are all seasoned up with salt and pepper now. And I use kosher salt 99% of the time. I'm using kosher salt when I cook. I will sometimes use sea salt, but I'm pretty much a kosher salt kind of gal. All right, let's see if that's hot enough yet. And I have it on a medium-high flame. I'm only going to do 3. You don't want to crowd your pan. You want it to be able to brown. And I will put salt and pepper on the opposite side. So not to squish it, because then too much liquid is released and you won't get a nice sear on it. We'll let these brown. I'll show you when it's time to flip them. All right, we're going to turn them. about 3 or 4 minutes on that side. And then when they are all finished, they will be moved to the plate. I will give a swipe, and we will prep the pan for the onions, mushrooms, and garlic. I bring them over to my dish to rest. They will finish cooking in the juice. Now I'll bring it back to the pan. Not in the juice, in the gravy. I just put a little dab of olive oil. I have it on very low. That's probably about a tablespoon of butter. I kind of fly by the seat of my pants when I cook. I tend to not be so precise. The oil just helps butter not to burn. We are going to put in our onion. I will not put the garlic in yet. Garlic cooks quickly and gets bitter if it's burnt. So we want the, I don't like that. We want the onion to cook down first. Let me get my, and it's on low. You want it to kind of cook slowly. You don't want it to cook quick. So we'll let this cook down and come back when we're ready to add the garlic. Okay, you could see they're cooking down nice. They're getting a little bit of a golden color. I'm actually going to put another little pat of butter in. And a little dribble of oil. It's not much butter at all, as you can see. And this has been less than 10 minutes. And I'm going to dump in my mushrooms. Again, the garlic is the last of the last. With the mushrooms in, I'm going to do a little fresh cracked pepper. And a little bit of kosher salt. That'll make any liquid in the mushrooms come out. We'll let the mushrooms cook down now. And then we will add the garlic once the mushrooms have cooked down. Now I'm going to sprinkle my thyme. And I like to crush it a little to release more of the flavor. If that's 1/4 teaspoon, it's a lot. You can see the mushrooms are cooking down very nicely. Now I'm going to add my garlic. And I didn't finely chop it. Actually, somewhat on the chunkier side. The finer you chop garlic, I don't want to say harsher, the more pungent, stronger the flavor becomes. And so now we're just going to give that about a minute, and then this is all going to get moved to a bowl so I can start my gravy. I'm actually adding a little bit more thyme. I felt like it needed a little more flavor. Always taste. I'm going to add a little bit more salt too. If you're not tasting, you don't know what it needs more of. And you always start small. You can go big. You can't work your way out of the mess once you've overdone it. So you start small and work your way up to big. Alrighty, that's just about done. We'll come back when it's gravy time. Okay, I've actually shut the pan off. If there's one thing about cast iron, is it holds the heat. And this burner here is my, hey, let's burn the house down burner. It's very high, even the low is on the higher side. It's actually for wok cooking. But it's my favorite burner because it's right next to my counter here. And so I use it a heck of a lot more than the other ones. Though I will move this once the gravy is established and everything is back in there. And here comes the flour. And now I am going to put the flame back on, and I am going to lower it all the way. Again, cast iron is just so good at holding heat. And all you're doing, this is nothing more than a roux. I'm actually going to add a little bit more butter. I didn't measure. Like I told you, I'm kind of just flying here. It calls for 4 and 4. 4 tablespoons of butter, 4 tablespoons of flour. And you're just cooking out the raw flour taste. That's all that's happening when you do this. And you just keep stirring. You don't want it to burn. It's also picking up all those yummy flavors from the mushrooms and the onions and the garlic. And now we're going to start adding the broth. Just want to get those lumps out. I usually do a little at a time. I'm going to get my whisk. Get it all off. You can see it's already thickening up. Make as much gravy as you would like. You know your family. If you like to smother things in gravy, go for it. I love gravy. And I'm going to get my little spoon, and I'm just going to give it a little taste to see if it needs anything. Little pepper, a couple of cranks. I'm going to add some salt. And I'm even going to add just a little bit of the thyme to this too. Not much at all. And we'll just let that thicken up, and we will come back when we're ready to add the onions back and the pork chops. Alrighty, folks, that has thickened up beautiful. And all I'm going to say is, good golly, that's how delicious it is. I am now going to tuck in the pork, and they will finish cooking. I'm actually going to add their juices in there too. And get them in. And we will add in the rest of these, or return these to the pan. This dish is splendiferous. How do you like that for the word of the day? And now I am going to move it, because this is the high-speed burner. This is my trivet. I use this so that I don't have to worry about something getting burnt. I have shut it off from the other one. We will transfer it here. Some are curious as to what I mean by high flame. That puppy is high, and when a pan is on it, because it's for wok cooking, as you could see, the back one here, the metal goes closer. Here it's wider. When the wok sits on it, it comes up. So that's a mean burner right there. This one, I will let them sit. I will cover them, and about 5 minutes before ready, I will put the Swiss cheese on the pork chops. How about a quick mashed potato tip from the Pioneer Woman? After you drain your potatoes, put your flame to medium low, and mash. And that gets rid of the excess moisture in your potatoes, so you don't have watery, soggy potatoes. Instead, you have fluffy, delicious potatoes. You're welcome. Alrighty, friends, now we're going to put on the Swiss. That's for my daughter, a chicken patty. She doesn't eat the pork. Cover it. This is outrageously delicious. I have my mashed potatoes all finished. I have roasted broccoli going. We'll be ready to eat in a minute. And there you have it, my friends. The cheese is melted beautifully. You have this absolutely beautiful gravy. This is a great addition to your dinner rotation. I sure hope you enjoyed it. Alrighty, friends. Hope you enjoyed this dinner idea. I hope it gives you some inspiration and that you add it to your dinner rotation. It is delicious, and I'm sure your family will love it. If you're new, I hope you'll consider subscribing and coming back to visit. Well, I'm glad you were here with me. Until next time, go create something wonderful. Bye-bye.